Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Woo, woo, woo. So glad you're here. I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. Today is officially National Author Day. Woo, 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 woo. So first off, congratulations to all the authors out there anywhere. I don't care how you publish, traditional, self-published, independent, how you did it, how you figured it out, you did it. So that's a wonderful thing. And of course, I have to give a first shout out to all BK Royston Publishing and Royal Media and Publishing authors. Congratulations to you too as well. But I am on today with a few friends, just a few friends, and we come on today to celebrate National Author Day. I know everybody's working. We would have loved to have an in-person event, but if I can't get you in a room, I'm gonna get you online. Hello, and we're going to talk just briefly about a few things related to being an author, and really share this, like this, tag people. If you have a question, put it in the comments, and one of us will be able to answer that question. But first off, I want us to introduce ourselves, tell us where we're from, and tell us where we can find this website or social media or both. Denola, go ahead and start.
Good afternoon, I guess it is. Hello, hello, hello. I am Denola Burton. I am with Enhanced DNA Publishing. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I am so excited to be here, just to share a little bit about my journey through the world as an author and as a publisher. And what else do you want us to tell?
And you supposed to give social media?
My social
Website?
media, you can find me under my name, Denola Burton, or through Enhanced DNA Publishing on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And you will see that my website is actually listed with my name, enhanceddnapublishing.com.
Wonderful. Take it away, LaShonda.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm LaShonda Hoffman. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been doing this book publishing thing for a while. I love books. I have been supporting authors for 20 plus years. My social media is LaShonda Hoffman. You can find me on mostly all the platforms, or you can visit me at my website, LaShondaHoffman.com.
Wonderful. Miss Peggy, take it away.
Well, I am Peggy B. Dixon. I'm an author, a speaker. I'm a marriage investor, and you'll find that out as we go through and talk about the books. But I live in Louisville, Kentucky, by the way of Lexington, Kentucky. And you can find me at solo.to/Peggy B. Dixon. That's solo.to/Peggy B. Dixon. You can also find me at Peggy Bruce Dixon at gmail.com. You can find me on Amazon with my books. You can find me on Facebook, especially on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock.
Wonderful. Dr. Nettles?
Good afternoon, and it is a pleasure to celebrate National Authors Day with such celebrities.
Oh, thank you.
But I am Vernette Nettles. I am in Montgomery, Alabama. I can be found at www.vernettcnettles.com. I can be reached via email at vernettcnettles@gmail.com. And I also have an additional website, www.vcndailypray.com. Author, educator, writing coach, retiree.
Woo, ooh, we love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. Okay, so we got to go back to the beginning, because there are some people who want to write a book, but they're like, how do I get started? So you got to tell me a little bit, just a little bit about. I'll start. So I wrote my first book. It was poetry. I didn't even know I was writing poetry. And in 2007, God said it's time to put the book together. So really, I'm a retired librarian, so I've been in books for all of my career: medical, law, corporate, school, whatever. Libraries has been my thing. But when 1994, I started journaling, and then 2006, remarried. 2007, God said, put the book together. And I had to ask him what book. And he said, those spiral notebooks you've been writing in. So those of you out there who are not authors yet, and you got those 80 count spiral notebooks from the dollar store, and you've been jotting down stuff and jotting down, it's time to get that those 80 count notebooks together and start typing and start reorganizing and getting them pieces together. So that was my first book of poetry. I've changed the cover a few times. Woo, look at me. Here it is. That's the first one. That don't even look like me, does it? 2007 is like 17, 18 years ago. And there it is. That's the very first one. All new season, a new season in Word. It had a DVD with it and had a CD with it because I sang. So I released it with a one-woman show because I was singing more than probably 50 to 60 events a year. And remember, there's only 52 weeks in a year. So, I was hustling. And so, but that is my first book ever. And it was a command from God to do it. And then 17 years later, whoo, here we are. So who wants to go next?
Well, I guess since I'm next to you on my screen anyway, I actually am a retiree as well. And I'm an entrepreneur. So I said that I have a publishing company, but my business really was founded because I'm an HR professional. So my full business legal name is Enhanced DNA, Develop, Nurture, Achieve, LLC. So that's the HR piece. And I did not intend when I retired to start a business where I was going to write a book. No, that wasn't my intent. But as I did HR workshops and I talked on 3 areas of leadership, communication, and performance, mainly for nonprofit organizations, I like to tell stories in my workshops. And when I tell those stories, they're usually about me. And so I decided that I was using these stories. Maybe I should write a book. And so it actually became my memoir. It was If You Really Knew Me, The Life, the Lessons, and the Legacy. And so I would talk about these stories in my life, the lessons I learned from them, and the legacy that I'm leaving as a result of them. So that was my first book. And what I found when I wrote that book was that I didn't know that I wanted to be an author, but I loved putting the book together. And it was amazing to see that book come to life. So that's how I got my first book.
Wonderful. LaShonda, we'll just go around the room in order like we've done. Go right ahead.
Well, I started reading at 4, and when I was 9, I got my first diary. So I started writing in my diary. And when I was 16, I decided I wanted to be the Black Jackie Collins. I read Jackie Collins books, and I was going to be her. That was going to be my thing. I wrote my first book at 16. It was a hot mess. I had no idea what I was doing. But it started the writing bug, and I didn't get published for years, many years later. My first official publishing was called How I Met My Sweetheart. And it was talking about how I met my husband. It was my first anthology. I've done, I think, 4 anthologies before I published a book, my first book. And my friend, I was doing the marketing for it. And my friend said, I need you to have your story here about your husband. I was like, no. She's like, yeah. And so that's how I got my first book. And I really didn't call that my first book because I felt that my book had to have my name on the front. So I didn't think I was a published author. Now that I work with other people who work in anthologies, I always tell them you are a published author. When it goes into print, you become a published author. And so it took me a while to figure that one out. But my first official book that I published was called Building Online Relationships, and it was about book promotion. I had a couple of authors that kept saying I was teaching book promotion. They were like, where's your book? You need a book if you're teaching it. And I was like, oh, I don't need a book. I write romance. My first book supposed to be a romance. And they're like, no, you're going to do this nonfiction book. And so I put the book out there, and it well received, did really good with it, and scared me to death because I was like, okay. So I put off doing the romance books. But I got on a platform called Kindavella, and I published my first romance in 2022. Won debut author of the year for 2022. So
yay! Woo, yay!
And so I am going to be publishing the book in print and ebook in December. So I'm moving
Nice.
from Kindavella to publishing my own books again. And so that has been my journeys. And each journey is different. So I always tell people that too. Just because somebody else did it this way doesn't mean you're going to do it that way.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. Miss Peggy?
Well, they say I've always been a writer. They said I was always writing on something, piece of paper here, piece of paper there. So I guess I was always a writer. My first book that you published, Julia, is You Are the Legacy of Generational Tree. But the thing is, with that book, I had it 20 some years before I got it to you to publish. And I didn't know why it was taking me so long. But one day I'd asked the Lord, I said, Lord, you gave me this book to write. I mean, when are we going to get this published? And I said, are you ever going to confirm the book? He said, I confirmed it the day I gave it to you. It was the timing. He said, it's the timing, and the timing is now. And so I was able to get in touch with Julia, and we were able to get it published. And what he said to me was, because it says you are the legacy of generational tree, that people weren't talking about legacy like that, the word legacy. They weren't talking about generation at that time. And so I would have been out of season to have brought that book to everybody. It would have been a blessing still, but I would have been out of season. And I'm really excited because this morning I just talked to a mother whose child has read the book, and we're going to be doing a live in a couple of weeks with this young girl that read the book. So I'm excited about that. So I've been writing, but here's the thing. That was the first book I wrote, but it wasn't the first book that got published. And the first book that got published, when you asked the question, why, the first book that got published was about marriage. And it was because people said, you all have been married forever and ever. You need to write a book. I was like, I'm like you. I don't need to write a book. They've watched my life. They know. They said, I know you need to write a book. So that's what happened. I wrote a marriage book, and now I have another marriage book and a workbook as a result of working with Julia. So thank you. That's my why.
Meatloaf and marriage, Lord, what do they have in common? Go ahead, Dr. Nettles.
My why. I too have been writing since I was in elementary and middle school, and thought that one year that I would put together a collection of the poetry that I had written. And as I sat down to write or collect or gather, everything I was doing was turning into a devotional. And so my response was, okay, God, what are we doing? Because I don't think we're doing what I want to be doing. And that first book, Why Should I Be Bound, is a 30-day devotional that kind of chronicles my life, but it links life lessons or life activities to scripture and how that relates to your life. And so and I am truly surprised because much of what I've written since then have been books of prayer. I did finally get permission to publish that book of poetry, and it is out, but I do get most of my peace, for lack of a better way to say it, from the devotionals and the books of prayer that I write.
All right.
And people do too. And it just all depends on it takes faith, and it takes God, especially to write those types of books, whether you're faith-based or you're not. There are just going to be times, and I'm writing two right now. Well, one specifically right now that I'm like, and who's going to read this? He said, I'd ask you who's going to read it. I told you to write it. And I'm like, yes,
Okay.
sir. And then I just keep on writing. So we're going to combine this next question kind of together. Give me 1 to 2 positives about being an author, and then 1 to 2 negatives about being an author. So I'll start. So the greatest positive is, of course, being able to help people, inspire people, motivate people, and as well through your writings. And knowing, and then the number 2 thing is knowing that my writings can continue even after I'm gone. And the negative for me is I'm always holding my breath. I've written close to 130, and I'm still holding my breath every time I release one. It's a panic. Is it right? Is it right? I've seen it. I've read it. I've had 2 editors. I've had other people, but that's always I guess it's not a really a negative because I want my writings and things and even things I publish to other people's to do well, but it's just still like I'm sharing my words with the world, like oh, you know. So I understand that fear of it, but um, oh gosh, her name just left me. Do it afraid. The quote, the famous quote,
Joyce
Joyce Myers.
Myers.
Yeah, Joyce Myers. Do it afraid. So so I think those are my one or two real positives. I love it all, but one or two negatives. I'm always hesitant, and I always doing it afraid. Go right ahead. Who's next?
Well, I guess I can go next since we are doing panel style. I think the biggest thing for me right now is realizing that sometimes you're touching the least expected person is accepting your book. You're thinking you have in your mind the set of people or the group of people or the persons that you think, oh, they're going to really love this and they're going to really want this, and then you come up and it's not anywhere close to the persons that you would have thought would have wanted the book. So that's a great takeaway for me. That and the fact that I get to leave a legacy. The writings are a blessing to other people, and it becomes a legacy in their family, not just a legacy for my family, but it becomes something that they can pass on to their families from generation to generation. And that the takeaway, the bad part of it is, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what is the bad part or what is not the best part of it. And I guess it is that people wouldn't accept it, as well as, you know, people will accept it. Is that, well, why didn't they want my book?
Mhm.
You know, that kind of thing. So those are mine.
Who's next?
I guess I'll go. The positive for me is helping other people, especially when I can see them that their promotion is working for them. I know they took time to read the book. I know they're doing the steps, and I see them being successful with their promoting. That just melts my heart. The second one, I guess, it is the legacy. I'm learning that now how important books are, because so many people are trying to ban them away. They're trying to take up the point of reading. When someone tells me they don't read, it hurts my heart, because I'm like, you just don't know, especially an African American person, how long it took for us to even get the privilege to read, to go into libraries. And so my legacy is to leave that. I want to be like Laura Ingalls Wilder's, who I read as a 9-year-old. I want my books to
My
be
favorite. My favorite. That was my first favorite.
yeah, for hundreds of years. That's what I want to leave behind. And now that I have grandkids, I really want them to be able to. I push those books with them too. I want them to go and say, yeah, my grandmother wrote books, and so I want them to be proud of me, as my kids are now. For me, the negative has nothing to do with the publishing or promoting, whatever. It's me. It's getting out of my head. My mindset. I've been working on my mindset for a long time, because, as I said, I wrote books, and then I got into the point of being scared to release them. And so I'm been praying a lot about learning to let go, LaShonda. I finished the books, didn't let them go. I got like 10 of them in the closet now. I just need to let them go. And so that's my negative, is trying to get out of my head and thinking that they ain't gonna like them, or they ain't gonna buy them, And so that if I could get past that negativity in my head, then I will be very successful.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go next. And I'm going to flip it. I'm going to do my negative first. My negative is very similar to yours, Miss LaShonda. It's making the time, getting the time, sitting down and doing the writing. It's all in my head. It's all on little pieces of paper. It's everywhere. But stopping to say, okay, let's get this done. And I was sitting in the middle of a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and what came to my head was, I thought you were supposed to be writing a Christmas book. I said, yes, sir. I'm let me make the notes again, because it keeps coming to me. You're supposed to be writing a Christmas book of prayers. So it's the time and getting out of my head and space in order to do what I've been called to do. And the Positive is I didn't know I had been called to do this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for me, it's still a journey of realization that there is a different purpose for my writing than I thought. I just thought it was poetry, but there is such meaning for some when they read it, the memorial poems, the prayers, and they say the when people say thank you, it means one thing, but when they say, oh my gosh, thank you, that
Yeah.
takes on a whole different kind of
Yeah.
context. And for me, that's the positive, being able to have that realization and continue that walk in what I'm learning is a part of my purpose.
Yeah.
Can I add something to you, Dr. Nels? That Christmas prayers is really, really needed because people have lost a lot of loved ones
Yeah.
during the
Yes.
Christmas seasons,
Yeah.
and they need some hope. My cousin's son, she found dead on Christmas Day,
Oh, no.
6 or 7 years ago, and so I just want you to know those prayers are needed, not just because you want to talk about uh, maybe the parts of Christmas that we all get to enjoy, but just being able to help people during a season that is difficult for them. So
It's
Yeah.
the
thank
hope.
you.
It's the hope
Yeah.
that makes
It's
it.
the hope. Yeah.
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 Okay, we're waiting on it.
Thank
We
you.
got an audience waiting on you.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
We got
ma'am.
our- yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So you got till June because the holiday season. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get to you to know the holiday season really starts about the Christmas in July.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
July and August. So that season really is the last 6 months of the year. It's not
Yeah.
in November and not in October. So, all right. Viola, go ahead, love.
Okay, so my positive is that being an author has provided a certain level of credibility to my business.
Mhm.
And even when I wrote the first book, which was the memoir, it still gave me credibility. But the rest of the books are actually about my business. And so that credibility is amazing, just being an author. And I try to tell people that once you write a book, you have a business. Once you start to sell something, that's a business.
Yeah.
And so you need to treat it as a business. And so that credibility comes with work. And Miss LaShonda will tell you all about how to market that book. Um, so- and then the other positive is that I am a natural nurturer. And so rather than me just write my books and make sure that they meet publishing standards, I'm really, really big on making sure that others understand that too. And so that's a positive when you can nurture others. It's like women supporting women and women supporting men. You really just need to be able to help somebody else in that process. So that's the positive for me. The negative is really trying to understand the level of commitment that it takes to be an author. Nowadays, there are so many tools that you can use that will write your book for you, but that's not writing a book.
Book.
And so there is a level of commitment that you have to do the research to actually write the story or write the nonfiction book, whatever it may be. So that's one piece for me. And then I kind of echo what the other panelists have said in the imposter syndrome aspect and the limiting beliefs on why should I be able to write this book? What is it that I have that other people are going to want to read? You know what? We have a story to tell and we need to share it. And so get those limiting beliefs away and write the book.
Right.
That's the reason why we keep on writing because even though it's in our head, and you're right, I mean, we've all said it, it's in our head, and we have to. That's where my book really starts. It starts in my head, it starts in my heart, and then I roll it out the rest of the way, and it comes out much easier. Even when I'm writing fiction, I've got to get the scenarios and the character and who they are, and then they start talking to me, then I know I need to sit down at my computer. So I think I'm going to flip-flop the next question. we're going to, because one of the things I just realized, and I'm going to get to the tips of promotion. You can believe that. Because LaShonda, I want you to start. The turning your writings or what you do or your gifts, your talents, and we've all said purpose into a business. That's a part of what the Book Business Boss has been. It didn't start out that way. It was just Julia Royston Enterprises, but then it kept on moving and kept on growing until it was people said they would wanted to pay me for what I knew and pay me for what I do. So therefore, that has taken a whole new level of accountability on my part and a whole nother level of credibility on my part as well, because there's been a whole different surroundings of what that is asking for and what that need is, and that writing and time and just all the aspects of entrepreneurship. So one of the things that I really want people to think about and really be open to and really to be prophetic is that you have to be, that's a part of the authorship, is that once you talk on a topic, write on a topic, put that topic out to the world, there may be additional people who are wanting more from you than just as what in the book. And that's a decision you and God have to make. Sometimes he tells you that ahead of time, and sometimes that doesn't happen until the end or until you come into myself or Denola or LaShonda or any of us, and we say, do you coach? Do you preach? I can hear it in your voice now. Do you coach? Do you preach? Do you teach? Do you volunteer? Do you have a nonprofit? Are you ready to preach? Are you ready to say, why would he tell you to write? Because I always, now after 17 years, I know that extends past just, especially the memoir stories. I'm just airing my dirty laundry. I just told my truth. Well, yeah, baby, but it needs to do something else. There wasn't just a reason for you to go through that for you. So as an author, telling your truth, sharing your truth, you got to be ready for that entrepreneurial piece. Like, what does that look like? Is it casual? Is it a fee? Is it a non-fee? Is it a nonprofit? What does that look like for you? So all of us here have a certain level of business ministry going on with everything that extends past our book. For me, it's consumed my whole life. And for others, I just want you to, just take, like, did you know it before, or did it happen after the book, or just people kept asking you? Business coaches tell you, people ask you more than 2 or 3 things. The same people start asking you 2 or 3 times the same thing over and over again, then you have to really look at it, because you're in a place of expertise. Before or after the book, LaShonda, you start.
Well, I have 2 sides because I did book promotion. So people were asking me stuff for that. But I tell my clients, my stuff started as soon as I hit the publish and said the book was published, my DM started. How'd you do that? What you doing? How you gonna help me? What is, and I was like, ooh. And me and Julia always talks about the going down. You go down different paths when you publish a book. So you can go down the coaching path, you can go down publishing other people path, you can go down teaching and workshops and stuff like that. And so a lot of people don't think about that. And then it hits you all at one time. So that's what happened to me. It hit me all at one time. And I had to step back and say, well, which path do I want to go down? And I have chats with Julia about the publishing side. And I was like, nope.
Hey.
Hey, I'm crazy by myself. I don't need extra people to make it. So I said, nope, not going down that path. But I went down the coaching path for probably about 3 or 4 years because I wanted to help authors. But authors are people who don't want to know how to do stuff. They just want you to do it. But they really want to learn, but they don't want to learn. So it's a love-hate situation with that. And it was driving me crazy too. And so I had to step back. I was going to invest in this coaching program, and I was talking to the guy. I'm talking to him, and he's like, oh, you sound like you're a good candidate for our program, and you got this and this and this. And I was talking to him, and I'm going, but that's not my why. In my head, the spirit was saying, that's not what you want to do. What is it that you want to do? And I tell my clients that you got to know what is it you want to do, because people will pull you down past you didn't even want to go down. And I realized that, yes, I like helping people, but I like teaching more than coaching. And coaching was taking me away from what I wanted to do. And what was that? Publish books, write my books and publish them. I was saying, oh, I ain't got time to write because I've got 5 different coaching things I'm doing for the week, and I was like, okay, something has to give. And so I realized that even though I wear the coaching hat, that was taking me away from my dream of being a published writer, a published author. And so I had to reevaluate which path I wanted to go down. So I do coach with my virtual teas, but it's just an individual thing. I don't do too much group coaching anymore. I do teaching. I love teaching. So I go to class, I do conferences and things like that, because that introduces me to people. And so you have to evaluate what is it that you want from your book, because that book is going to open up so many doors. And I tell my clients that all the time. They always, well, I want book sales. I say, but what's going to happen after those book sales? Because people going to call you. I still have people call me and say, can you take me step by step to publish my book? And I said, that is not my lane. My lane is marketing. And then you have to remember to stay in your lane, because people will pull you into stuff that you're doing. And then you hate it and you're mad. You're making good. And the problem is you start making good money, but you hate it.
Yes.
And you don't want to be making good money hating it, because you're not going to give good services that way, because you you ain't going to sell this book anyway. You get those negative.
LaShonda, that's our conversation. We ain't supposed to tell it.
You don't want that. So you
know
your why when you do your book. Yeah. Write it down. Take time and write it down. And I'm glad that I did do that. I wrote down what I wanted to do with this book, where I wanted to go. That's why I wrote one book, because that's what I thought was in me, was just one book.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that to sell books, you got to make more books.
Yeah.
It took me 10 years to learn that. Because I was like, I ain't doing that books no more. I'm done with that. But it was hard to sell it because I only had one book. Yeah. And so know your why. That's what I would say. The best advice that I could give you. Sit down and write, what is it that you want this book to do for you? Dream big. Maybe one day you want to get that award from the president. Put it on there, because you don't have, and so you want to know that. And then when you write in your books and you're going down and people pull you down a path, you go back to that why and you go, okay, that ain't on the why list. Let me look at that and see if that's what I want to do. If not, because people are, you want to do coaching, and I love coaching. I made nice money from coaching, but I didn't have time to write because my mind was gone. It's fried. So you got to have, it's only 24 hours, So that's me.
That's you. Danola, go next.
So I first mentioned that I retired. So when I retired, I felt like I took the best parts of my HR career and started my business. And the books came after. And as the books came, I began to write books for my business. And I wrote several workbooks that went along with some of the workshops that I did. And the topics that I was writing about were about the work, the leadership, communication, or performance. Then people started looking and saying, well, golly, she's writing all these books. How is she doing that? And so I did not, again, intend to become a publisher, but I had people asking me to help them publish their book. And so because I was retired and because I had my business, I wasn't thinking that I would charge people to help them write their books. But then guess what happened? 2020 happened.
Yeah.
The pandemic happened. And it seemed like everybody that I knew was writing a book. And during the year, actually, after we were quarantined, so probably after March, I was able to publish 15 books for other people in 2020. And so I began to realize, you know what? Not only is this something that I can make money at, it is something that is helping people because they didn't know how. They didn't have a traditional publisher that they could go through.
Right.
They had this little independent publisher here that they had access to in an affordable way. I wasn't trying to get rich off of helping them publish. And so that's how my publishing got started. And that has kind of transitioned now, because even though I continue to help publish other people's books, I am now trying to teach people how to publish books so that they can self-publish their own books. So I have more of an education flair to the work that I do. So that's kind of my feel on how I am able to continue to nurture, which is a part of my whole theme of nurturing. So it's develop and nurture so they can achieve becoming
Wonderful,
a
wonderful.
published author. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, Denola and I met at Indiana Black Expo. I think Miss Peggy was there too, with us that year. I guess that's been about 2 or 3 years ago. And so it's been a great opportunity to work with somebody else in Indiana, because people say all the time, I don't know any Black publishers. I said, well, I know about 15 to 20 of them. I know plenty of them, but it has the entrepreneur journey, the business journey looks different for everyone and looks different for all of us. But I'm with Denola and LaShonda. You got to be ready for it. You got to be ready to either say yes or no. Miss Peggy, you go next. Now, yours is primarily ministry wise.
It is. And one of the things that has happened, Julia laughed at me, but I used to have a business when I was first got married called Custom Cover-Ups. And it's Granny's Custom Cover-Ups. And it was an apron business. And I've done always, they used to say I could sell ice to Eskimos. Okay. But I had done those things, and then ministry. And then it seemed like for a period of time, all of that has kind of like been on the back burner, and the Lord is now pulling that back out again. Because I've forgotten that, Julia says, you need to be doing da, 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 da. And then someone else would say, da, 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 da. And then I'd come back and tell Julia, guess what so-and-so said? And they were lining up together. And I've known that, but I had set it aside. And now God is calling for that again. He's saying, you've written these books. It is what I've given you as a business. It is your entrepreneur. And for me, maybe this is not the case, but it may be the case for others that are out there listening that are just getting started. For me, it was trying to balance business and ministry, because it just seemed growing up, you didn't mix the two together. You was either ministry or you was business, but you didn't. And that had always been my bad takeaway, is trying to figure out how to do it. And now I'm in a place I'm like, I'm learning, I'm growing. I've got an LLC now again, and I hope I'm not rambling, but I hope I'm making sense that is what had been my struggle, selling the books, writing the book, doing that. But that what you said, what are you going to do after you get the book published? Where are you going to take it? And now I'm having to come back around and say, okay, God, this is what you have for me to do. It wasn't just that you wanted me to write the book. You want me to get back out there. You want me to do ministry. You want me to coach people. You want me to do this. And it's okay. It's not in my head any longer. It's not a sin to try to do business and ministry at the same time. Right. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense, because there's a lot of people who, that whole separation of church and state. And now we're realizing that we got to get ministry outside of the four walls. And when we get in the marketplace, all the 7 mountains of the marketplace, when we're there, we're able to do, and the strangest thing, and this is a sidebar, but the strangest thing is, if you're a faith-based person and you actually have looked at the Bible in any way, shape, or form, or attended church, you realize Jesus spent a whole lot of time in the market and a whole lot of less time in the temple. He spent a lot of time hanging out in the streets rather than actually in the temple. So I think we finally have the mindset of that, of transferring, really, we become kingdom minded. And I think that, just in a nutshell. Dr. Nettles?
Okay, I've been enjoying the story. So the life stories and lessons. So repeat the question.
The question was,
I love Dr.
the
Noah.
question was we hadn't got to quite to the promotional tips. I got to get that before we move out because I know we run in short of time. But really talking about all of us have entrepreneur, which as y'all can tell, I'm pulling Dr. Nettles kicking and screaming with the big business and the entrepreneur thing. You know, she's a lifelong educator, so she's like, well, I'm gonna do what? Yeah, you're gonna do, and I'm gonna be where? And I'm yeah, and then you're gonna do who? So we're
What
talking
you
a little
said.
about the trends. See, I know my people. So it's the transitioning. You're beyond your book to business because when people meet you, they say what?
I spent an hour and almost 2 hours on the phone with a client that I sent to you because she said, Vernette, I need to do my book. And I walked her through all of the pieces. And I did that because when I started, I couldn't get anybody to help me understand the pieces. And so that was my give back. And when I talk about my give back, you see Julia's face right now? She, she tells me I can't keep giving back. I have to package it back. And so that is a transition for me because, Mr. Nola, you say you're a natural nurturer. People call me and ask me questions all the time, even when I'm not on contract. And Julia understands that. And I must answer because I cannot allow somebody to fall and waver if I know the information. My daddy said you cannot keep the information in your head. It was given to you to share. And my mother has always agreed with that. So it's been a journey trying to move into that transition space. I did do some of that transition this year. I did publish 2 books, self-published. Thank you, Dr. Royston, for being the leader and mentor in that. But those 2 books are titled Petals of Success. And the first one is business and entrepreneurial tips from a life of, from a family's perspective on entrepreneurs. We as a culture have been entrepreneurs forever. That was the only way we could exist. And then the second book is the book that I really wanted to do, which is business tips for authorship. So I'm moving in that transitional space, but it is still quite a journey and a mindset change from being able to help and support someone to transitioning that to making that support look a little different and become profitable. I think that's the word that I don't want to say.
Yeah, I know you don't want to. I know. It's the teacher in you. I understand. But she was at an event not too long. I guess it was last weekend. They keep asking me. Now this is where I get to when they keep asking you the same question over and over again. Well, they keep asking me about writing. I was like, oh, did you give me your card? Did you give me your number? Did you tell them you were a writing coach? Because you can't keep having people ask you the same thing over and over again. And they're looking to you and you there. So you don't pass them to me. They go to you. That's your client. I appreciate the referral for something you don't want to do, but something you're called to do. Love, that's your card. That's your phone number. That's your email. That's your rate sheet. That's your hourly rate. And I've taught you how to do an invoice. I'm coming out of that. So, I understand. I had to learn that too as well to say, you know what? Let's have a call, and that's an invoice for that, and that's a package for that. So, yeah, I mean, the entrepreneur journey. We can have that conversation another time, stronger. But I can't leave. I can't have the queen of promotions on without her giving us 1 or 2 tips because I got my pen, my pen, my paper is ready. So this is not the hardest for me because I have the gift of gab and I love to travel and I love to meet people and Miss Peggy knows, Vernette knows, Mr. Nola see me in action at the expo, so they know this is my world. But there are still people out there who's like, okay, we were in Houston, National Black Book Festival. Well, can I just write the book and just hand it over to you and you sell it? I'm like, are you serious? Brian was like, what is
For a
she
fee?
saying?
Yeah, you can for a fee.
No, but not even fully. Yeah, for a fee, for maybe to be on my table, but I'm still gonna need you to talk. So you don't want to say nothing about your own book that's got your own name on it? Like you don't want to do none of it part? Ooh, I was just like, and really honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think money really was the issue. I think she'd have been okay if I'd have just said, okay, here's the invoice. And she'd have paid it and been happy as a lark. And I'm like, no, so LaShonda, help us. Help the publishers, but also help authors. Just give us 1-2 tips. Because after that, no, wait a minute. I think I put her. If you need a session, book promotion session, the queen of book promotion is LaShonda Hoffman. Okay. LaShondaHoffman.com. You need to set up a tea session. She's only going to give you a small nugget. I'm not going to let her go that far because you need to you need to pay. You need to get on her to no, because this is not fair. The laziness, I can't stand. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. All right. Go.
Okay, well,
two.
I'm get two. I wrote down what I was gonna say, and then you said something that really hit me, and I want to discuss that. But what I'm gonna say for authors is that you have to learn how to market yourself, because if the book is yours, nobody can sell your book but you first. Then you can put it out to other people. You can't even tell if they're doing it right if you don't know what marketing is your book. You got to know that people are marketing your book right. Okay, so we were talking, so she said something that hit me today. Today I went to look at what I did in the past. I do a book festival every year. That's my give back. I'm like everybody else. I'm always doing free stuff, but one of my things that I give back is an online book festival. I do it in December 13th through the 15th. And it's online, it's free. But I went to look at my TikTok to see how often I had promoted it last year so I could see what I did and stuff. I had 2 posts for 2022 and 23. I was like, what in the heck? Me, the queen of promotion, didn't promote on them things. And I was like, what? But December, I'm tired. So I know that's what it was. I'm done. If they coming, they coming, whatever,
And it's online. So you know how it is. Like you're not trying to sell tickets and get them in person. No. Right. No.
So what I'm going to talk about, I put the side is to audit your social media. Okay. Mm-hmm. Julia said earlier that somebody she knew had posted 30 times in one day. So you need to audit your social media. So I did that mini audit and found out that I hadn't done what I thought I did. I thought I was promoting every day, and I wasn't. It's in my head.
Yeah,
my head was promoting, but I wasn't. So you want to audit your promotion and see how often are you posting. Are you posting like you think you posting every day, and you might be posting once a month? I have a client that posts once a day. That works for her, and I told her you choose. With promotion, you choose how often you want to put it out there. That lady put 30 posts. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to do that. So you pick how often you want. I try to post at least 3 times a day. 3 times a day. Morning, afternoon, and nighttime. But pick what schedule works for you. Because my schedule is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It might not work for you. Pick what that. And then what are you sharing? Because Julie said that the lady's sharing about everything but her book. She didn't post 30 posts, ain't said nothing about her book. So when you auditing your promotion, go back and look at your IG thing. Does it say anything about your books? Are you sharing all them restaurants you went to? I'm guilty. I talk about K-dramas all the time. Then I realize I ain't said nothing about LaShonda drama. Where her stuff at? Yeah. So auditing stuff, at least what I'm trying to do now is look at my stuff monthly. At the end of the month. Yesterday I should have been looking at my stuff, going to see what did I do, what got engagement, what didn't get engagement. Did I talk about my books? Did Facebook share it? Because one of the things that I'm learning as a creator, they let you see the background stuff. The social media don't share your stuff.
No.
You post it on there, but they ain't sending it to nobody. Nobody sees it. How can you post something and nobody see it?
That's true.
And so that irks me, because I'm like, I didn't spend all this time putting this stuff up here and nobody saw it. Nobody sees the post. And if nobody is seeing the post, you need to go back and share it again, because somewhere the feed didn't move. You want your feed to move. I see people that say, I'm taking a social media break. You just put yourself down in a dungeon.
Yes, you did.
And you got to rise up
You
to
got to start
level
all
2.
over from the bottom.
You got to
Yeah.
start all over again.
Yeah.
And when I tell people that, they look at me like I'm crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. I've been doing this 20 plus years. I see the background. One of the things that I taught my client was to put a link. I had taught that, push that for years. When I got behind the scenes, when they let me be a creator on Facebook, I realized that nobody was seeing that link. Nobody.
Yeah.
I had authors that told me that ain't nobody seeing the link, LaShawn. Nobody's clicking on those links. And I said, oh, it's therapy. You know, no. Get your data. When you start getting your data, then you can see, oh, ain't nobody looked at this. You can see that nobody looked at the post. Nobody clicked. I use Bentley link. I can go look at my Bentley link and see how nobody clicked today. Oh, I got 15 clicks today. You know, you want to look at their data, because your data tells you if your promotion is working for you or not.
Yeah.
And the buy button, when people buy stuff, then if you selling books, but if you're trying to get engagement, you're trying to get visibility, you want to know that data that people are looking at that. So that social media audience is so important to you if you're doing social media. Don't keep, what they say, do the same thing over and over again. That's insanity. If you're doing the same thing over and over again and you're still not getting visibility, you got to move on. One of the things I learned from being a creator on Facebook was that I needed to find other places to go, because Facebook wasn't showing my stuff and I wasn't paying them to do it. So I'm like, if I'm gonna pay you to do it, and you still ain't doing the free people. What you think you're gonna pay me? I'm gonna pay you not to show to people. And so
but they say if you pay, then it'll be seen. But I don't know about that.
I don't know. They don't let you see that background stuff, so you don't know.
Yeah, right. We don't know.
So I try to find other places. So when I tell my clients is, you want to go to places where you can meet new people daily. Yes. Facebook, you don't meet new people. You talk to the same people. If you got a good community, that works. If you got a good buying community, that even better. But if nobody is buying from you, you need to get off of Facebook and go somewhere else. So I went to TikTok and I went to this new thing called Threads. Some people hate Threads, but I found a community on Threads. I found engagement on Threads. I found that I was meeting new people in England, in Asia, oh my God, all over the world. Same thing with TikTok. You might not like doing videos, but it introduces you to the world, not just your little bitty section of America, so you want to do things that get you in front of new people every day. If you're not reaching new people every day, you're just defeated in promotion. You say, oh, I'm on Facebook, and you got 200 people that follow you. That's it. And it doesn't matter if I got 5,000 people and Facebook showing to 4 people. What? I got 5,000. Can I get 10% of that?
Listen, she done gave y'all about 10 tips. See, she was on She gave about 10 tips. LaShawnda, first off, LaShawnda Hoffman is LaShaunda Hoffman.com. Tell them where they can sign up, register for the conference you do. I've been at every year. I can be a part of it, even if it's for 1 second. I'm popping in. How can they register?
In the thing here
in Facebook? Okay. And then we'll share it later.
But yeah, come to the book festival. The book festival is free. It's always free. The best part about it is that you can miss it and come back and catch some stuff. What conference can you get? You can go, you can skip Friday and come back Saturday and see all the stuff that happened Friday. None.
No, and then you gotta pay for the replay.
So it's fun. This is your chance to talk to people who are doing what you want to do. I tell people to come to the panels. These ladies are here, men are here to answer your question for free. This is the only time you get to talk to people for free. You see your favorite authors, come talk to them, ask them questions. What I love about it is that if you can't make the live ones, we have conversations in the Facebook group, and you can talk in the Facebook group, ask questions. It's free. 3 days
Yeah.
of free fun. That's my giving back to the community, because I believe in giving back. And you get, look, I have a whole list of questions that I'll be asking authors. I won't know everything.
I'm like, and there's never been a time I haven't been there that I haven't learned something new. I want Danola to go next because I want her to tell us about give me one tip of promotion, and then I want you to promote your new book that you have coming out. Is it today? It launches today?
It's today.
Today
Yes.
launch. Come on. Tell me about
Yes.
your launch.
So my tip for promotion, especially if it's about social media, is I think about talk about 3 things before you ask. And so whether that is a quote from your book, whether it is about the subject of your book, that might, maybe it's asking a question or something before you ask. I see so many people on social media that just say, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. And people get tired of you begging for them to buy your book. So give them something that's going to engage them. And then they'll say, you know what? This girl is giving so much great information. I need to get that book so I can learn more.
Right.
That's the kind of thing that I like people to do. And that's what encourages me to want to find out more. So that's my tip. But my book, I am just so excited. This is the new book. It's called Enhancing Your Leadership, Communication, and Performance DNA, because that is my theme. Even though our bodies are made up of DNA, we can't change our body's DNA, but boy, can we change how we exhibit leadership? Can we change how we exhibit communication? And can we perform better in all things? Absolutely. And so that's the framework of my whole business is how do you develop, nurture your leadership, communication, your performance so you can achieve in your professional as well as your personal life. So yes, for those that are near the Indianapolis area or in Indianapolis, we do have a book launch tonight at the Ujamaa Community Bookstore here in Indianapolis, 5 to 7 p.m. I'm just excited. And I will say that this book was #1 bestseller on Amazon. Yay!
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for that tip. And if I were in Indianapolis, I'd be going, but I'm 100 miles south of you, love. So I'm sending good stuff your way. And hopefully I'm sending people your way.
Thank you.
Peggy, you got one promotional tip for us?
Everywhere is a bookstore. Everywhere you go is a bookstore.
Now this one, she's the queen of I'll sell it in the store, I'll sell it in the grocery, I'll sell it at the funeral. All right, go for it.
Yeah, that's my one big takeaway is that everywhere you go is your bookstore. Whether you're in line at the grocery store, whether you're at the laundromat washing clothes, whether you're at the bank getting some money. When I'm up at the counter, one of the ladies that you met at Gaslight, she came and she said, hi, Miss Peggy. And she knew me from the credit union because when I went in the credit union, I did my business and I talked about my book. And so everywhere you go is your opportunity to sell your book because it's your bookstore in person.
Wonderful. She sells them everywhere you go. Okay, November 9th is coming up. Is what, Miss Peggy?
You want me to talk about that?
Yes,
November the 9th at 9:00 in the morning, we start our Orange Sharpens Me. It's a woman's workshop. There are 8 workshops. There are 3 sessions with 8 workshops. Do you want me to run through those real quick?
No, I want you to tell them where they can buy it.
Okay.
Register, not buy it.
So
they can buy it too, but where they can register for it.
You can go to Peggy's Pearls, and that's without apostrophe on the Peggy's 12 Peggy's Pearls 12, and purchase a ticket for yourself. They're $40. You can purchase the one for a friend, a family member, co-worker, church member, next door neighbor. Don't bring the dog or the cat, and know that you're going to be among some great facilitators that are going to be talking to singles and going to be talking to married and Julia's going to be there. BK Royston Publishing Book Company is going to be there selling books. We'll have other entrepreneurs that are going to, other vendors that are going to be there. There will be a luncheon. Just going to have a lot of fun. My takeaway from that is that we need each other to stay sharp. And so that's the purpose of bringing women together. We all go through different things, wear different hats, experiencing life, but sometimes you just need somebody else to come along and help make you sharp. So that's the purpose. Thank you.
Iron sharpens iron, November 9th in Lexington, Kentucky. Go to Cash App, Peggy's Pearls 12.
Yeah.
And buy your ticket for $40. If you have any questions or you're in the area, you can always jump in my inbox. I will help you in any way I get you there. And also go to Peggy Bruce Dixon on Facebook. She's had live streams all week in the last 2 weeks with her speakers. So she's been out there and she has been talking about her event and promoting. I'm so proud. Yay!
I am so glad. So proud.
I'm so proud.
Doing anything on social media has been a struggle, a push, a pull, a whatever. Even my daughters are like, "Mom, you've got to do this."
Oh, they got
and they're really making
my
me.
team gotta.
I do want to say one thing else. It's at 1976 Justice Drive. It's the Holiday Inn Suites in Hamburg in Lexington, Kentucky.
So meet us there on November 9th. Dr. Nettles, where you going next? Now they be talking about me on the road, but baby, you is hot up 65 and Mobile and back and around and Birmingham and Hunting. Oh, just go on, tell us one of your promotional tips and where you gonna be next.
Promotional tip: release the fear. I'm still not on Instagram, but you have to have a presence. And even if you, and I'm going, my tip is real basic. You have to have a presence. Even if it's one landing page on a website, you have to have a presence. People have to be able to see you and find you. And then you grow and build from there. Where I will be next is Birmingham Saturday. So at some point, like after you say goodbye, y'all, I'm going to pack my stuff up. Okay. Tomorrow.
I tell you what, I'm super proud of Dr. Nettles because honey, she retired and hit the ground running. And so I'll help push you. I don't have no problems at all. Be sure and go to Vernette C. Nettles. That's VERNET, and there's a C in the middle.
Yes.
Nettles, NETTLES .com, and be sure and find her books there. Just as a heads up, coming up in 2025.
Yes.
The Montgomery Book Festival will be in March. It's year 4.
It's year 4.
It's year 4. So I've been at 1, 2, and 3, and it has just been an awesome experience. Yes. We've had a fantastic experience starting and enjoying and growing the Montgomery Book Festival. So if it is March 8th, right? Is that the night date? Okay. Mm-hmm. March 8th, 2025 in Montgomery, Alabama. If you're in there, can get there by plane, train, automobile, bicycle, skateboard. You get down there with us, and more information is Vernette C. Nettles. Now, I'm going to head on out because I know we got to get back from lunch and all that good stuff, but this has been a celebration, and hopefully you've had some incredible resources and tools that you did get for free. Hello. And so you can always support us. You can find us, share it, and get started. You know how to find me on social media. You know how to find any of them as well. We're very active. This has been as I say, a presentation to celebrate National Authors Day and to really encourage those authors who have jumped in. There's still many more. There's nearly 9 billion people on the planet. Everybody hadn't written a book yet. So we're here to help encourage those who still want to do it. God done sent prophets and prophecies and keeping you up at night and dreams and visions. It's time to get it going and time to get it done. You all be blessed. I'm Dr. Julia Royston. Happy National Authors Day. We love you. Have a great day.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day.
Have a
Bye.
great day. Bye-bye.